Thanks for listening to Dog Dish. Before we start, we'd like to say thanks to our sponsors. Porter's Pride is a raw, premium pet food with meats and vegetables locally sourced in the Pacific Northwest. Porter's Pride will ensure freedom from allergies, healthy weight loss, an increase in energy, and a reduction in the amount of stool produced. Find out more, check out Porter's Pride at porterspriderawdiet.com. That's porterspriderawdiet.com. And thanks to Addiction Pet Foods, they offer a complete range of cutting-edge foods that provide the most advanced hyperallergenic nutrition for dogs and cats around the world. Addiction is proud to have innovated the concept of using premium proteins such as free-range venison, salmon, kangaroo, and brushtail. Addiction Pet Foods. We go to the ends of the earth for your pets.
I'm Deborah Rosen. For the past 15 years, as founder and owner of Good Citizen Dog, I've been helping people to train their dogs using the science of canine behavior. What I'm going to do is help you create peaceful living with your dog.
Hi, I'm Dina. I'm producing Dog Dish with Deborah. I've been training dogs for over 10 years with the Good Citizen philosophy, and together we will help you create peaceful living with your dog.
Hey, Dina.
Hey, Deborah.
We have a great subject today. Recall.
Oh, very nice. Recall is extraordinarily important.
It's the reason I'm a dog trainer.
Oh.
Well, it's not the best story. It's not the happiest story in the world, but before I became a dog trainer, I had this wonderful little dog that we initially called Yoda, and it was a Papillon Chihuahua mix. And it was just a reddish color, just really a nondescript little dog, smart as a whip. And we then ended up renaming her Weasel, because she was really smart and really sneaky, and she'd do little weaselly things. But I took her out, and I got her as a rescue from Animal Care and Control in San Francisco when I lived there. And she was a runner. She would get out and she would run. And I took her to this event, and she got out. And the next thing I knew, I got a phone call that she had been hit by a car and killed.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And so, yeah, it was really sad, and I was really mournful for a long time. And it stayed with me, Dina. And I decided at one point when it was time to change careers that I wanted to do this. And I kept hearkening back to this experience with Weasel. And I wanted to do something that would help people so that they never had to feel really the anguish and pain of having to lose a dog that way. So, don't mean to start you guys off on a bummer, but let's talk about recall because it's that important, okay? Come when called. It's important to teach dogs to do it from the get-go. I mean, whether it's a brand new puppy or it's an older dog that you get from a breeder, or if it's a rescue dog that you get as an adult, I'm calling anything over a year an adult. But there are dogs that they just have very, very little impulse control, Dina.
Mm-hmm.
And when I say that, I mean, if they see something across the street moving, a leaf, a squirrel, a microscopic bug that they can see that we can't, and they want to go get it.
Or at least check it out, for goodness sakes.
For goodness sakes.
So important.
It could be so interesting. And so what do they want to do? They want to cross the street and check it out.
And maybe not pay any attention to what street they're crossing.
Right. Or what's on it, or what's moving, or, any of those things. So, these are things that we have to start training our dogs to think about and do from the minute we get them. So how do we start this, folks? And again, this is a big subject, so we're splitting it into 2 podcasts. So this is Recall Part 1. And then we're going to have Recall, the sequel.
That's right.
Okay. So the first thing we want to know, I mean, whether you have a brand new puppy or you have a rescue dog, you're going to start from the very, very beginning. You're going to help that dog understand the most important thing, which is their name.
It's a good place to start.
Most dogs, we think they know their name, but they don't know their name, okay? I've got to tell you the truth. They just, we start talking and they look away because there's something more interesting happening. So the first thing we want to do, and this may seem trite, but we want to say their name, and we want to say it with a certain kind of distinction. We want to say, in fact, Justice is up here right now with us. I want to say, Justice, in a way
And
that
here
he
gets up.
and he comes over.
That's right.
Because I'm saying his name with a certain kind of significance and interest. And so the second they look at you or show that they understand, you're going to pop a very tasty treat in their mouth. And you have to do it really quickly. All right? So you want to say it, and you want to say it differently than you say other things.
Okay.
All right? Just so that the name is as distinct as it can possibly be. And in other cases, when we ask dogs to do things, we don't have to say their name. If we want them to sit or lay down or wait or stay, those are called stop commands. We don't want to say their name. We want to say their name when we're calling them because we want to inspire them to move.
So do you hear that, folks? This is a very important key piece of information in case you drifted a little bit.
Yeah, right.
We'll bring you back. Deborah, why don't you say that again?
Yeah, you want to say a dog's name when you call them.
And not conversely when you want them.
Not when you want them to stop or stay or do what we call a stop command.
Excellent.
Okay, because a stop command means no movement. A recall command means move. And that's why we need to get their attention and have them understand that we're calling them. Okay, so that's step number 1. Step number 2, and there are many steps to recall. So, you may want to write some of this down, folks.
Or play it again and again and again.
You're right. And then send it to your friends and have them play it again and again and again.
That's right.
All right, so when you call a dog, you're always wanting to sound really super interesting and happy. You're never going to call a dog for anything that dog perceives as punishment. So you're never going to be angry. Even if the dog has run down the block and then they're coming back towards you, you never want to punish them when they're coming for anything ever. And that's a great big E-V-E-R with an exclamation point on the end of it.
All caps, folks.
So no punishment
Ever.
for recall. If they've come to you after they've ignored you for 10 minutes, but you finally get them to come, pop a treat in their mouth.
Yes.
And call it good.
And that's very counterintuitive, and I love that we're really emphasizing this is one of the things I see that people are on a miss with their dogs, and they don't want to be, they just end up being.
That's right.
So
that's
it's
absolutely
so
right.
important.
That's right. All right, so that's the rule number 1. Always be happy, and the number 2 is never punish your dog for anything relative to recall, or never do anything don't call your dog and then do something that it sees as punishment. And for example, I'll give you one more. Oliver, my wonderful dog that I had in San Francisco, I called him once and then threw him in a bathtub and gave him a bath. He hated baths, Dina. It was awful for him. And so he never wanted to come to me after that because he thought that I was going to do the worst thing ever, toss him in the tub and give him a bath.
And what choice did he have but make that association?
Right,
Because
he
that
was
was
really
the one
smart.
time that happened.
That's right.
That's right.
And so don't call your dog if you're going to throw them in a crate and if they don't like their crate.
Right.
I mean, if your dog likes their crate and you tell them come over here and get in your crate and they're good with that, then that's one thing. But so no calling a dog for anything it sees as punishment.
Yep.
Okay, we've got a few more things to talk about, but before we do, I want to take a quick break and thank one of our great sponsors, Dina.
Excellent, Deborah.
I want to thank the law offices of Lynn Johnson. Lynn Johnson has specialized in family law since 1983. She's a past president of the Tacoma Pierce County Bar Association, and she's recognized in our community for her expert ability navigating her clients to a peaceful resolution in domestic and relationship cases. She was an early advocate of collaborative law, and if you need her to be, she is also quite a skillful litigator. Say that 3 times fast.
Right.
Litigator. Call the offices, folks, of Lynn Johnson at 253-383-3333 for a 10% discount off your first consultation. Lynn Johnson, empowering her clients with caring education.
And don't forget, you have to mention Dog Dish to get that 10%.
That's right. Thank you, Lynn Johnson and the law offices. Back to recall, folks. Step 3. When you call a dog, throw them a party and walk backwards.
That's also counterintuitive. The first thing you want to do is run after your dog.
You do. You want to chase them. But here's the thing, folks. Never chase a dog. Walk backwards and pretend that you are throwing them the party of the year.
I
all right?
like it.
So, high voice like this. You see, Justice is already looking at me.
Yes.
Use the high voice and say, whatever it is that you use for your recall, and then walk backwards. Ask me why.
Why do you walk backwards? It's so counterintuitive.
You want to walk backwards because you're being more animated and you're luring the dog, and the dog likes to be lured. It likes to go towards something that is moving, Dina. So that's what you want to do. You want to walk backwards. That's right.
And you're coming after me.
That's right.
And then what happens when they come back? What do you do once they come back?
You're going to touch their collar.
Ooh.
Okay, so this is a classical conditioning model, and it's one that, if employed correctly, will get your dog not to play that really, really, really annoying game that they love to play, which is called keep away.
Oh, yes.
Keep away or catch me if you can. Most dog owners hate that game.
Yes.
Because guess who wins that game?
Usually a slick little puppy dog who can just meal his way in and out of you wins that little
Well,
game.
they have 4 legs and we only have 2. So those are the rules I want to talk about right now, folks. And the last one, just to review, as they come to you, as you're delivering a treat for them, you're popping a treat in their mouth, you're touching their collar, and this is the classical conditioning model, which is conditioning by association. You touch their collar, it means treat. So they allow you to grab hold of them to keep them out of harm's way. Well, folks, this has been part 1 of Recall, and we are going to do a part 2, and in part 2, and you must listen to it, we're going to have little fun exercises that will help you to train your dog in a fun way to come to you when called. So please tune in for Recall, the sequel. Thanks for tuning in, folks, to Dog Dish.
For 15 years, Good Citizen Dog has been the premier destination for dog training, dog daycare, dog boarding, and grooming services. Good Citizen uses the most modern, positive, reward-based training techniques. With our 2 locations in Western Washington and across the country, Good Citizen Dog is creating peaceful living with your dog. For more information about services or for franchise information, go to goodcitizendog.com. That's citizen with a Z. Or call 855-936-3649. That's 855-936-3649.